We rely on so many things in our digital world, things we use all the time, but don't really know much about.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to dive deep into one of those unsung heroes,
Uh,
R. You've sent us a whole stack of articles on it, and it's clear that R is way more than just the 18th letter of the alphabet.
right.
So what is the big deal with R? Why should we even care?
Good questions.
Yeah. By the end of this deep dive, you'll know if it's a tool you should add to your toolkit.
Yeah, I think so.
So what is R exactly? It's more than just a programming language, right?
It is. It's
Yeah.
really a whole environment for statistical computing
Yeah.
and data visualization.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is it actually started with a couple of academics
Mm-hmm.
back in 1993 in New Zealand.
Wait, New Zealand?
Yeah.
That's not exactly Silicon Valley, is it?
No, not really.
You'd think something this powerful came from a high-tech hub,
Mhm.
not, sheep and hobbits.
Yeah.
No offense to New Zealand. I love Lord of the Rings.
Right. But that's actually part of what makes R so unique. It's these two guys, Rossi Haka and Robert Gentleman.
Okay.
And they were building on an earlier language called S from Bell Labs. But they wanted to make these powerful statistical tools more accessible for teaching,
Uh-huh.
research. And get this, they actually hid their own names in the name R.
Oh.
It comes from both of their first names and its connection to the S language.
Wow.
Pretty clever.
That's a great story. Kind of like a secret handshake for data nerds.
Mhm.
But how did this academic project turn into, this global phenomenon?
Well, this is where that open source magic comes in.
Okay.
IHOC and Gentleman, they made R free
Mm-hmm.
to use
Mm-hmm.
and modify it. So it's like this giant global team of experts are constantly improving it
Right.
and adding these specialized packages for everything you can imagine.
So it's like a giant Lego set
Yeah.
for data analysis. You
Yeah.
get the core R, and then people all over the world are building all these cool new things with it.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but what can you actually do with R?
Well, that's the exciting part. I mean, where do we even begin? R is a statistical powerhouse.
Yeah.
Think analyzing these massive data sets,
Mm-hmm.
building complex models, and then creating just stunning visualizations.
Okay.
Like, for example, one of the articles you sent mentioned how a team of financial analysts, they used R to predict a major market downturn
Oh, wow.
and save their clients millions.
Now you've got my attention.
Yeah.
Predicting market downturns, that's next level stuff. But I have to admit, statistical powerhouse does sound a little intimidating. Is this just for hardcore math geniuses?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a bit of a learning curve. But R is becoming more and more accessible. The open source community has created a ton of resources,
Mhm.
tutorials, and honestly, the ability to work with data is becoming so essential in so many different fields,
Uh-huh.
not just for statisticians anymore.
Right, right. I feel like every job posting I see wants data analysis skills these days. So you're saying R isn't just about these complex equations. It's really about making sense of information, which we all need to do.
Exactly. R can help you unlock these patterns and insights that would be impossible to see otherwise. It's almost like having a superpower
Mm.
for understanding the world around us.
Okay, I'm starting to get the hype now, but let's get specific. What are some of R's biggest strengths? What makes it stand out from other tools?
Well, one of the things R is most famous for is its data visualization capabilities. You can create these incredibly detailed and beautiful charts and graphs
Okay.
that reveal these hidden patterns and trends. It's not just about presenting the data, it's really about telling a story with it,
So it's kind of like turning raw numbers into art.
in a way. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What else? What else can it do?
Well, R also excels at things like time series analysis,
Uh-huh.
which is essential for understanding trends over time, like climate change or economic data.
Right.
It's also incredibly powerful for hypothesis testing, which means you can use it to test those hunches we all have about the world, but with statistical rigor.
Okay.
So, for example, you could use R to analyze whether a certain marketing campaign is actually leading to increased sales rather than just relying on gut feeling.
Right, right. So it's like taking the guesswork out of decision making,
Yeah,
replacing it with data-backed evidence.
exactly.
Pretty powerful stuff. But I'm guessing there's a reason why everyone isn't using R already. What are some of the drawbacks?
Well, like any powerful tool, R does have its quirks.
Okay.
The learning curve can be a little steep, especially if you're not already familiar with programming concepts.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a bit of a resource hog. When working with very large data sets, it's not always the most efficient, or user-friendly tool.
So it's not exactly plug and play. There's
Mm,
a little bit of a trade-off for all that power.
you could say that,
Mm.
but even with those quirks, R is constantly being improved
Mm-hmm.
by the community.
Mm.
There are new packages and updates all the time to address these limitations.
Okay. So it's not perfect, but it's always getting better.
Exactly.
It sounds like R is really this constantly evolving ecosystem, but you mentioned something earlier about these specialized packages.
Right.
What exactly are those, and why are they such a big deal?
Okay, so think of SAN.
Okay.
The Comprehensive R Archive Network is basically this giant library with over 18,000 packages.
Whoa.
Each package is like a toolkit that's designed for a specific task or area of expertise. You can find packages for everything: bioinformatics, financial modeling, mapping and spatial analysis.
Wow. 18,000. That's mind-boggling. So it's like having a specialist
Yeah.
for every data problem you could possibly have.
Pretty much. And because it's open source, people are constantly creating and sharing new packages. It's a really collaborative effort.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that makes R so powerful and versatile.
That's incredible. So you've got this core R, and then you can add on these specialized toolkits for almost anything.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see why people get so excited about it, but let's be honest. Even with all these amazing features, R isn't the only player in the data science game. Right?
Right.
We talked about Python earlier,
Okay.
but are there any other tools or languages that people might consider?
Well, you're right. We can't really talk about R without mentioning its biggest rival, Python.
Okay.
It's kind of like the cola wars of the data science world.
Oh, okay.
They both have their strengths and weaknesses.
Okay. So R and Python. Two heavyweights battling it out for data supremacy. That sounds like a deep dive all on its own.
It definitely is, but we'll save that showdown for later in the episode. For now, let's focus on understanding what makes R so special.
Sounds good. All right, so we've established that R is this powerful and versatile tool
Yeah.
for analyzing data
Right.
and creating those stunning visualizations. But I'm curious, who's actually using this stuff in the real world? Are we talking about, academics and data scientists?
Yes.
Or is R breaking out into other fields?
Oh, it's definitely not confined to academia anymore.
Right.
R is being used in all sorts of surprising ways across diverse fields.
Mm.
Like, for example, one of the articles you sent talked about how scientists are using R to analyze genomic data,
Okay.
which is leading to incredible breakthroughs
Mm.
in our understanding of diseases
Wow.
like cancer.
So R is literally helping to save lives. That's amazing. Are there other examples like that, where it's having a real-world impact beyond just crunching numbers?
Absolutely. Researchers are using R to track climate change patterns
Okay.
and model the impact of pollution.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving us the tools to understand
Right.
and hopefully mitigate some of the biggest challenges facing our planet.
It sounds like R is being used to tackle some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah.
What about the business world? Are companies using R to gain a competitive edge?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
R is becoming increasingly popular in industries like finance,
Mm-hmm.
marketing, and e-commerce.
Okay.
One of the articles you shared mentioned how a major retailer
Yeah.
used R to personalize their marketing campaigns,
Okay.
and it resulted in a significant increase in sales.
So it's not just about understanding data.
Mhm,
It's
yeah.
about using it to make better decisions
Yeah,
and
true.
achieve real results.
Yeah.
That's impressive. But I have to ask, is R only for big companies
Mm-hmm.
with massive data sets?
Correct.
Or can smaller businesses
Right.
and even individuals benefit from it?
That's a great question. And the answer is R is becoming increasingly accessible to everyone.
Great.
Even small businesses and startups are using R
Mm.
to gain insights into their customers,
Mhm.
optimize their operations,
Okay.
and make data-driven decisions.
Hmm.
And individuals are using R for all sorts of personal projects
Okay.
and creative endeavors.
Okay, that's exciting. So R isn't just for corporations and research labs. It's a tool that anyone can use
Yeah.
to explore their curiosity and make sense of the world around them.
Exactly.
But with all this talk about serious applications
Yeah.
and business strategies,
Mhm.
I have a feeling there's a fun side to R as well, right?
You're absolutely right. While R is a powerful tool for solving complex problems,
Uh-huh.
it can also be incredibly fun and rewarding to use for personal projects.
Okay.
Imagine being able to create beautiful visualizations of your favorite sports team's performance,
Right.
analyze the lyrics of your favorite musician,
Hmm.
or even map the locations of all the places you've traveled.
That's so cool. I never thought of using R for those kinds of things. It
Yeah,
really opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
it does.
But let's be realistic. Learning any new skill takes time and effort.
Right.
What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out with R? Where should they begin?
First of all, I'd say don't be intimidated.
Okay.
R has this reputation for being difficult to learn. But with the right resources and mindset, anyone can master it.
Okay.
The open source community has created a wealth of free tutorials,
Yeah.
online courses and documentation to help you get started.
Right.
And there are countless online forums and communities where
Right.
you can connect with other R users,
Uh-huh.
ask questions, and share your work.
So it's like having this global support system
Yeah.
of data enthusiasts cheering you on.
Exactly.
That's awesome. But where should you start? What are the essential first steps?
My advice would be to start with the basics.
Okay.
Learn the fundamental syntax and data structures of R.
Okay.
Don't try to learn everything at once.
Right.
Focus on building a solid foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, have fun with it.
Okay.
Experiment, explore,
Uh-huh.
and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Mm.
That's how you learn and grow.
That's great advice. It's like learning any new language, you have to start with the basics
Yeah.
and gradually build your fluency. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about some of the practical considerations of using R.
Okay.
We touched on the learning curve earlier,
Right.
but are there any other hurdles people might encounter?
One thing to keep in mind is that R can be a bit resource intensive, especially when working with large data sets.
Right.
As we discussed earlier, it tends to process data in memory, which can sometimes lead to performance bottlenecks.
Okay.
So depending on the size and complexity of your data,
Yeah.
you might need a fairly powerful computer
Right.
to run R effectively.
So a beefy computer can definitely help.
Yeah.
But are there ways to optimize R's performance,
Mhm.
even if you don't have the latest and greatest hardware?
Absolutely. There are packages like data.table
Okay.
that are designed for efficient data manipulation,
Uh-huh.
and there are techniques for optimizing your code to make it run faster.
Right.
And if you're dealing with truly massive data sets,
Yeah.
there are cloud-based solutions that allow you to run R on powerful servers without having to invest in expensive hardware.
That's good to know. It seems like there are workarounds
Yeah.
for some of R's limitations.
Right.
But even with all its power and versatility, R isn't the only game in town
Right.
for data analysis, right? We
Right.
talked about Python earlier.
Yeah.
But were there any other tools or languages
Yeah.
that people might consider?
You're right. The data analysis landscape is constantly evolving, and there are several other options worth exploring.
Okay.
One language that's gaining popularity is Julia,
Okay.
which is designed for high-performance numerical computing.
Hmm.
And it's particularly well-suited for tasks involving complex mathematical models and simulations.
So Julia is kind of like the speed demon of data analysis. What else is out there?
Another option is SAS,
Okay.
which stands for Statistical Analysis System.
Uh-huh.
It's been a mainstay in the data analysis world for decades
Okay.
and is known for its robustness,
Mm.
reliability, and comprehensive statistical capabilities.
Okay.
And then there's SPSS,
Okay.
which stands for Statistical Package for the Social Sciences.
Okay.
It's widely used in social science research,
Uh-huh.
but is also a versatile tool for general-purpose data analysis.
Wow, so many options. It's like a buffet of data analysis tools.
Right.
But with so many choices, how do you know which one is right for you?
That's a great question, and there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Right.
It really depends on your specific needs, goals,
Uh-huh.
and the type of data you're working with.
Okay.
Some factors to consider include the size and complexity of your data,
Mhm.
your level of programming experience,
Okay.
the specific types of analysis you need to perform,
Right.
and your budget.
So it's about finding the right tool for the job,
Exactly.
just like we talked about with R and Python.
Right.
But no matter which tool you choose,
Yeah.
it's clear that data analysis skills are becoming increasingly important
Absolutely.
in today's world.
For sure.
It seems like every industry is becoming more data-driven.
Absolutely. Data is everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And the ability to analyze it,
Right.
interpret it,
Yeah.
and use it to make informed decisions is a valuable skill.
Mm.
A wide range of industries and disciplines,
Right.
whether you're a scientist,
Uh-huh.
a business analyst,
Okay.
a healthcare professional,
Mhm.
or just someone who's curious about the world around us.
Right.
Learning how to work with data is a wise investment.
I couldn't agree more. It's a skill that will open doors
Yeah.
and create opportunities
For sure.
no matter what path you choose in life.
Right.
But before we get carried away with our data-driven dreams,
Yeah.
let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned about R.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
Right.
from its humble beginnings to its global impact.
Mm.
But what makes R truly special? Why is it worth learning,
Mhm.
even if you're not a data scientist
Mm.
or a statistician?
What's fascinating about R is that it's more than just a programming language. It's a gateway to a whole new way of thinking.
Mm.
It encourages you to ask questions,
Uh-huh.
explore data,
Right.
and challenge assumptions.
It's like learning a new language opens up a new culture,
Yeah,
a new way of seeing things.
for sure.
R does that for data.
Exactly. And the beauty of R is that it's constantly evolving.
Mm.
New packages are being developed, new applications are being discovered,
Right.
and the community is constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
So it's not a stagnant skill set.
No.
You're always learning,
Yeah,
always growing,
Right.
always discovering new ways to use it.
precisely. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Hmm.
Learning R is an investment that will continue to pay dividends
Uh-huh.
throughout your career,
Right.
no matter what field you're in.
All right, listener name, we've thrown a lot of information at you today.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing we hope you take away from this deep dive, it's this. Don't be intimidated by R.
Right?
It's a powerful tool, yes, but it's also accessible,
Ah.
rewarding, and even fun to learn.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to use R
Yeah.
to make a groundbreaking discovery,
Right.
to launch a successful business, or simply to explore a passion project
Mm-hmm.
that brings you joy.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless, so go forth, explore the world of R,
Yeah.
and see what amazing things you can create.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive,
It's been a pleasure.
and we'll see you next time for another adventure in the world of knowledge and discovery.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been unpacking all things R,
Yeah.
and it's clear that this language is more than just a tool for number crunching.
It really is. It's almost like R unlocks a different way of seeing the world,
Okay.
a world where patterns emerge from chaos,
Right.
and insights are hidden in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered.
That's a great way to put it. It's like R gives you like this extra vision for data.
You can see things that other people miss.
Exactly. And that's incredibly powerful no matter what fields you're in.
Right.
Whether you're analyzing financial markets,
Mm-hmm.
tracking disease outbreaks, or even just exploring your own personal data,
Okay.
R can help you uncover these hidden connections and make more informed decisions.
Speaking of informed decisions,
Yeah.
we've been dancing around this R versus Python thing for a while now.
Right.
It's time for the showdown.
Okay.
What are the key differences between these two data science heavyweights?
Well, think of it this way. If R is the master statistician,
Okay.
Python is the versatile all-rounder.
Okay.
Python is a general-purpose programming language that's great for building all sorts of applications,
Mm.
while R is laser-focused on statistical computing and data visualization.
So R is the specialist,
Yeah.
and Python is more of a jack of all trades.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
And while Python has made huge strides in data visualization
Uh-huh.
in recent years, R is still the undisputed king when it comes to creating these truly stunning and informative graphics.
It sounds like they each have their own superpowers.
They do.
Is it a matter of choosing one over the other, or can they work together?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And honestly, the best approach often involves using both.
Okay.
They complement each other quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, you might use Python to clean and prepare your data,
Okay.
then switch to R
Mm.
for the heavy-duty statistical analysis and visualization.
So it's like having a team of superheroes,
Yeah,
each with their unique abilities,
Right.
working together to save the day.
exactly.
But let's be real, learning any new language,
Yeah,
even a superhero language like R,
right?
takes time and effort.
It does.
Is it worth the investment, especially in a world where technology is constantly changing?
Absolutely. The world is only becoming more data-driven, and the ability to work with data is a skill that will only become more valuable over time. Learning R is an investment in your future,
Uh-huh.
no matter what path you choose.
That's a compelling argument, but
Yeah.
I think there's another reason to learn R
Yeah?
that goes beyond just career prospects.
Ugh.
It's about the joy of discovery,
Uh-huh.
the satisfaction of solving a challenging problem,
Right.
and the thrill of uncovering hidden insights that can change the way you see the world.
I couldn't agree more. There's something incredibly empowering about being able to take raw data
Uh-huh.
and transform it into meaningful knowledge.
Right.
It's like unlocking a secret code
Yeah.
that reveals the hidden patterns and stories
Right.
within the data.
All right, listener name. There you have it.
Yeah.
We've explored the origins of R, its strengths and quirks, its real-world applications, and even its rivalry with Python.
All right.
We've covered a lot of ground, but hopefully
Yeah.
we've given you a taste of what makes R so special and why it's worth exploring.
Absolutely.
So what are you waiting for? Dive into the world of R and see what amazing things you can discover.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
Yeah.
and keep asking those deep questions.